So this journey, or rather any journey, I would say, starts with something which triggers. So triggers are of course personal, but one of my very close friend, she called me in her home and she introduced me to Japanese chanting and Nehha. That opened doors of this world, which had angels and card reading and meditations. I was walking through the different levels of modalities. Sure. And what spirituality had to offer at that point of time. Sure. Leave everything. Yeah, children. Just most of the people do, right? Sannyas le lo. What are the vacation में sannyas ले लेंगे. Correct. But I didn't learn from myself. I wanted to heal myself first. Okay. I didn't know I have to become a healer. I thought it is a very interesting topic. Okay. So I knew कि क्या पहले बना और फिर शंकर भी डिस्कवर नया कुछ हुआ. Okay. It's a mystical world. Yeah. It is beyond the familiar. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Hi guys, welcome to Enlighten with Nehha. Today we have a very, very special guest, Sapna I. She is a healer, a therapist. She does a lot of modalities under the term emotional healing. She's into inner child healing. She does something called Shambhala light healing, which is very interesting, and she'll enlighten us with that. So, and there's blueprint healing as well, which is also a very, very interesting concept. So, we should talk about it, right? Welcome, Sapna. We can't wait to hear from you. How did your journey begin personally of evolution and to the place where you are? Thank you so much for having me here, Nehha. It's a pleasure. My delight and honor. Yeah. So this journey, or rather any journey, I would say, starts with something which triggers. So definitely there are certain triggers in my life which got me into this and where I found my peace. And that's how I started my journey. And it started from 2009, 10 onwards. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. And before that, I didn't know what the S of spiritual. If you don't mind, like what was the trigger? So triggers are of course personal and mm, it's not important to talk about it because sure. That happens in everybody's life. Yeah. Most of it, not all, but someone would have a different trigger. This sure. I had a particular trigger in my life, so which was quite emotional. When this question comes in your life, you want to say why me. Yeah, what did I do? I mean, I'm a normal person. I don't harm people. I don't cheat people. Why is it me? Yeah. Why did it start with me? Right. Then you start to question. And I think it's a good habit when you question, oh, you get your answers. Yeah. I think I questioned the right person, the God. Amazing. The universe. Right. And then I know then a lot of things started happening. Of course, it was at a very slow pace. It took me 7 8 years to come to terms with my past and my personal issues, and then I realized that everything had a reason. Sure, in retrospect. Yeah. Right. So and then you move. Yeah. I mean, so after the trigger, like, how did you get into exactly what was the onset of your journey? So the onset was that I didn't know. I couldn't think for myself. Right. I was in that state. Right. You can call it a depression. But one of my very close friend, she called me in her home and she introduced me to Japanese chanting. Oh, Nehha. And from there it started. Okay. So I think I give entire credit to her for bringing me here and for I'm grateful. Absolutely, absolutely. An angel in your life. Yeah, she's an angel in your life. So you did that for how many years? So I did that, but the problem was that she used to stay quite far from my home, and that was a challenge.
And I was living with my daughter, so and they were very small at that point of time. So it was a task to leave them on Sunday and go and attend meetings. Yeah. Travel 40 minutes. Yeah. Drive down and attend that. Now, of course, it gave me a lot of peace, but then sometimes you miss, sometimes you could attend. Of course. Then I decided I do it at home. I can. Okay. Or I will find somebody in my area, but then I could not connect with someone in my area. Sure. But I am doing it at home. Sure. And things started from there. And one thing led to another, because initially you have your personal manifestations. Yeah. You want to keep trying. Yeah, yeah. You want things for yourself. I want this, I want that, and all that. So this is how it started. Okay. That's the beginner's luck, you could call it. Yeah. Even in spirituality. Absolutely. Yeah. And that took you to another. That took me to that opened doors of this world, which had angels and card reading and meditations. So I attended various workshops, did a lot of courses. I did some soul healing, so everyone had a particular concept. Right. And not that they didn't work, everything in its own way. I think I was traveling a path. I was walking through the different levels of modalities. Sure. And what spirituality had to offer at that point of time. Sure. और फिर उसके बाद मेरे को लगा कि हर रोज घर से निकल जाओ और यही करो वापस आओ तो there is a practical side of life also. You have to work, you have to yeah, absolutely, which became like it became imbalanced. I was too much into that, and then I withdrew. Okay. From everything, I said whatever I have to do, I'll do it from home. If I have to change my world, this is my world, my home. I will be at home. And then there were certain oppositions. No, I won't say opposition. There was some kind of a suppression from the family not to go ahead and do this. Oh. Probably they feared I might leave everything. Yeah, children. Just most of the people do, right? Sannyas ले लोगे. हाँ, तो उनको वो डर लगा कि शायद मैं कहीं संन्यास न ले लूं. Correct. But तो खैर फिर हाँ, so whatever I could do it at home. Right. And so what was that point when you wanted to become a healer? Like पहले तो आपने used it for your personal. I didn't plan it to become a healer. I didn't know I would become a healer. Right. So whenever I got, now if I look back and I remember कि art reading हम करते थे या करवाते थे या उसमें निकल कर आता था तो उसमें यही आता था कि you're a healer. And I used to think, I don't know, you have self doubts. Yeah. And you don't know. Like people just tell you that your aura has that. Yeah. But you don't realize it. And then slowly things started, I could see things started happening on its own. Right. Like all I remember is one of the incident when my daughter, she was about 4 years, she fell off and it was bleeding, just she had a cut near her eye and it was bleeding. Right. And it was coming. And I thought, हो जाएगा, ठीक हो जाएगा अपने आप. And लेकिन वो 2 मिनट तक नहीं हुआ, we applied some medicine also. But what? So, my family member said that इसको stitch आएगा, लेके जाना पड़ेगा. So she got scared. And then being a mother and I got worried. I said, no. I looked at her face and I could imagine how she's feeling. Right. I just rubbed my, I didn't know. I just rubbed my hand and placed on her eye. I said, "Abhi band ho jayega." And it actually stopped. Wow. And I was, I have been back. Oh, yeah, like that. So that's where you actually. Yeah, so this incident I will always remember, Yeah. This made me think, acha, ye ho bhi gaya ऐसे, and then sometimes kids say, पेट दर्द हो रहा है स्कूल के टाइम पे, so I said, अच्छा ठीक है, let me do this again, so I made that as a practice. It's like magic for them. Magic for them. It's magic. Yeah. So awesome. That was one incident, and so you learned a specific technique. What was the first technique that you learned in healing? Like, like a certified No, I didn't learn from myself. I wanted to heal myself first.
Okay.
I didn't know I had to become a healer.
Okay.
I wanted to heal myself because there was too much of heaviness.
Sure.
And another thing that I remember is when I started chanting Nehha Lohia. And I was chanting at home one night. I felt something is moving inside me.
Wow.
Something is rotating inside. And I was wondering, what is it? Even if it is due to the chant, it should move in a clockwise. Why is it moving in an anti-clockwise?
Right.
That was the feeling I got.
Wow.
Yeah. So then I called the friend who introduced me to this practice. She said, maybe something is changing, because people don't have answers.
Yeah.
They can't have all answers.
Yeah.
I said, okay, but I wasn't satisfied. I think there is a very inquisitive side of me which which led me to be here where
Sure.
I am.
Sure.
I wasn't satisfied with that answer. And I was just searching some books or something. And I remember a random book had a line saying if something is moving anti-clockwise, it is healing.
Oh, so that's where you got
And I got my answer and I could resonate with that answer.
Sure. Like you felt that this is
Yeah, because I think that was needed. My heart was in pain.
right. So currently, what all modalities do you work on? If you can just introduce it to our audience.
See, there is no specific modality, I would say. Something which I have learned and developed, I would like to talk about
Please.
that. So I did this chanting. Then I read a lot of books. Then I went to Ananda's, where did a lot of meditation.
The yoga.
The yoga Nanda. Yeah, absolutely. So everyone has a different method. And since I wanted to do something from home, um, and I was also part of a group earlier, which was called Shambhala, led by someone who was uh, taking forward the entire group. And then, but the people, जितने भी उसमें लोग जुड़े थे, वो धीरे धीरे करके सब अलग हो गए, सब बिजी हो गए.
Okay.
So वो थोड़े टाइम के लिए था. तो वहाँ पर
just to understand, what is exactly Shambhala? I mean, if you can.
Yeah, I found it is a very interesting topic.
Okay.
So I tell you कि क्या मैंने बना
हाँ.
और फिर शंभला में डिस्कवर नया कुछ हुआ.
Okay. Sure.
तो सर उस समय जो शंभला के ऊपर हम लोग करते थे, हम लोग बैठे हैं मेडिटेट कर रहे हैं एंड देन someone who's guiding us would tell us कि ऐसा ऐसा हो रहा है. If you have any particular wish, you can ask them. The higher beings are here. You can ask them and manifest. Earlier, it was all about me, me, me. Later, I realized I came across people, who had similar background in terms of the hurt,
Right.
the pain. And I started feeling, why am I coming across people who are very similar?
Got it.
Seems
like a pattern.
Yeah, it's a pattern. There was a pattern. If I have been through a cheat, someone else also has been the same way.
Right.
And exactly the same way.
Right.
So that made me, feel bad for them as well.
Sure.
And then
I
I
wanted to do something about it. Like
not
offer.
consciously.
Okay.
Again, it happens subconsciously.
Okay.
You have started giving emotional support because you're also in pain. Someone else is also in pain. So you wanted to go some soothing words. Don't worry, things will be okay.
Just organically.
Yeah, organically. And that gave me a lot of peace.
Oh.
There was a lot of satisfaction in it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than that, I would say.
Yeah.
The joy of giving.
Yeah. And that's where my personal journey ended.
Oh, okay. And you became.
When I realized when I'm giving to others, the doors are opening for me.
You become a divine instrument.
Yeah.
Right.
Earlier it was just me, but later it was not me. I realized the more I do, the more I help, things become easier for me.
Wow.
And I think
It's a superpower, actually.
yeah,
Because then, it's not you, it's the entire universal energy,
yeah,
which is infinite.
yeah.
So, yeah.
It's like you're a car and there are other empty cups. If you keep filling in your cup, there's a capacity to it.
Yeah.
But if you fill others' cup, you learn from what you're giving to them,
Yes.
and you receive more.
Wow.
It's like a wisdom also.
Yes.
I remember one day I was just sitting and I painted Lakshmi ji and Saraswati ji, and I think happy I was Basant Panchami, and I painted Saraswati ji, and then after that, all of Gyan keep going. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
feel that kind of dawned the bond.
Yeah, I think it's I wouldn't say an enlightenment. It's difficult to use such heavy word.
Yeah.
But something worked for me at that point, and I'm talking about 2014.
Wow.
Yeah. So from 2009 to 14 was a personal journey, and from 14 onwards, it's again a discovery.
Sure.
That where am I? Where am I landing? It's a mystical world.
Yeah, it is beyond the familiar.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, you mentioned about your guru. I'm very intrigued to know your story of how you came across and what's been.
I have so many gurus.
I can relate to that.
So, in principle, I say, Krishna is my guru.
Okay.
Because in my deepest pain, he was my savior.
Wow.
And I got one past life regression done, where he gave me a lot of messages. I could not really, what I saw, that was my first ever session. And
What age was this?
this age was 2010. So I was
When
like
you were-
12, 13 years back.
Oh,
30 years back, yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I was 37.
Okay. Okay. So that was just the onset.
Yeah, that was the onset. Because I had this question one, and then he gave me my reasons for why, but still I didn't understand.
Okay, you're not convinced.
So I wasn't convinced. So my first experience I would say was when I saw some figure, and I had not seen that in my conscious life.
Right.
And my therapist was asking me, what are you seeing? And I could not say because I felt it is some deity or divine, but I'm not able to because I don't know the name. And that confusion was in my mind, in my heart.
You could see an image.
I could see clearly an image.
In your dreams?
No, he did a regression.
Oh, in that.
In
Okay.
that. And then all of a sudden, that image could understand my confusion and it changed
Oh.
to Krishna.
Oh, wow.
And I saw a 10-year-old boy, with he moving around, and I was asking questions why this happened.
Right.
So he was giving an answer
Huh.
like that.
In the Avtar Krishna.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
in that session, so that was my first experience. Beautiful, yeah.
And then
And I documented everything, later. And I was crying.
yeah. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
precious moment.
Yeah. So crying was for two reasons. One was that, I'm seeing divine. Second is, I was in deep pain.
Yeah, it was the release.
Yeah, it was a release.
Wow. And your physical meeting with your guru, did you meet yoga energy in the
No,
film?
never. No.
Okay.
So this was one. This was the start.
Yeah.
And then I did Namyo started with Namyo.
Right.
Then somebody said angel reading, and then I came across, there was a meditative center, so she was a master Reiki healer.
Okay.
And she used to have the picture of Krishna and Mother Bauji and Maharshi,
Yukteswar.
Yukteswar and everyone. Entirely. So we used to go every Sunday, Saturday, whenever there was a satsang. And I attended that. And then I don't remember how I connected, how I came across this Ananda. But it was very close to my house and it was very convenient for me.
Yeah.
But they conduct very beautiful meditations.
Yeah, of course.
And their homes are, and
Oh, yeah. It's
beautiful.
The thorough factory. Yeah,
Yeah.
beautifully designed.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, even now, once in a while, I do attend their meditations.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the practice you follow.
So, whatever I started, I have just probably, like Namya also, they say in a particular format, I do it in my own format.
Yeah, I mean, you can always custom.
Yeah.
Especially when you are knowledgeable about it.
Right.
Right. You also mentioned your experience with Mahavatar Babaji. I mean, we all know that he's an avatar of Shiva.
Yeah.
So, could you all share some precious moments?
So once, I had kept a meditation thing in my home, and I called a few friends and everyone, and I had prepared the entire like stage and made arrangement for people to sit. So before anybody could come in, I only sat there and I was meditating, and I felt the presence of Mother Babaji and
Wow, that was the first time.
yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I saw one movie of Mr. Rajnikant.
Yeah, he has been.
He's made a movie. Yeah.
It's like a biopic.
Yeah, kind of thing. And I feel everything has a message for you. Universe is trying to talk to you.
Right.
They're trying to give you a message.
Right.
Only if you're able to decipher.
Of course. And also receive.
And
The
you should be willing to listen.
Yeah.
Open to listen.
Yeah. Yeah. But how would you define him? Like, I mean, people have different perceptions. Some say that he's in his physical body, subtle body. But for you, how would you define Babaji?
I think Babaji and his techniques and his teachings and his followers, it's universally present.
Yeah.
I can feel the presence of Babaji even here.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. He's like,
The moment I enter in the book, I said, yeah, wherever you go, there is
always
a
plan.
Yeah.
True that. Wow, that's lovely. I mean, any last words, message for our audience for their own journey of evolution and healing?
Keep a check on your life. If something is not working out, not that small things, but yeah, major way, or if there are blocks, keep observation is the key.
Right.
You have to observe your life. What is going wrong? And if you really want to change, if you're happy, it's fine. If you want to be more happier, you can be on this path.
You can work on it. Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Savna. This has been a pure honor and delight, and I'm sure our audience is going to take a lot of value from this.
I love to talk about it.
Yes, the
Music
music.
for me.
Yeah, I think we have many more podcasts on this, so we look forward to getting her soon.
Thank you so
I
much.
think this is good for introducing you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.